Alright, everyone. We should be live. By the looks of things, we are. Hello. Welcome to the Saturday night stream. We're doing Nuclear Throne. I actually wasn't sure what I wanted to play tonight. If I wanted to do this, or if I wanted to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge again, just do a run as Mikey. Which I will still end up doing. But I figure it's a little too soon, since the Thursday stream, to just go ahead and do the same game. So I figured I'd go back to a tried and true classic, being Nuclear Throne. So yeah, I'm a little bit hot under the collar. Just found out some news as I was posting to promote the stream about the limited run community manager ending up being fired for old tweets. And, yeah, it's not great. It's not great at all. I'm very upset about it. They are a more conservative individual, and I think they're a Christian individual. And they were fired basically because of it, because they expressed something that's not popular in this day and age. And I'm so sick of cancel culture. It drives me insane. But I'm not going to dwell on that because that's just going to bring my mood down, which has, during what has otherwise been a good day. I'm tripping over my words, but it's mostly been a good day aside from that news. I get very angry about that sort of stuff because it's not right. It's not right at all. But I had a really good day. I spent a lot of it watching... hey Mel, how you doing? I spent a lot of time watching old commercials from the 80s and 90s. And I watched German 985 stream from last night where he watched old commercials from the 80s and 90s, which is why I decided to do it. And it got me thinking about how great nostalgia is, and how cool nostalgia is. And the reason I think nostalgia is so powerful is because, especially for me now, a lot of the stuff that I grew up with is disappearing. In large part due to the internet. Like, a lot of retail is disappearing because of the internet. A lot of stores, like Radio Shack and some of the big box stores are disappearing. Some of them are still around because they were able to adapt to the internet culture, but the ones that haven't, like Sears, are just going the way of the dodo. It's very unfortunate. Because, again, I grew up with these retail experiences, and they were all we knew for years. And now the internet's come along and convenience has taken the place of the experience of actually leaving your home to go and buy stuff. I mean, there's still stuff you have to leave for, like groceries, but they are really trying with groceries to make it so that you can get everything delivered to your home. And I don't think people should put all their eggs in the internet basket when it comes to retail. I don't think that's wise, because I think being able to drive places is far healthier for the human experience than just staying at home and getting stuff off the internet. It might be more convenient if you've got a job, per se, but I don't think it's healthier in regards to overall mentality. I really don't. I don't think it's healthy to order everything offline and not leave your house. Stuff like DoorDash has made it even worse, because now restaurants are relying almost solely on that, and it's tripling the prices. What mutations do I want here? Better accuracy, I'll take that. That'll benefit me with the machine. Did I pick up those bullets become ammo? I think I did. But yeah, ultimately, nostalgia is big for me, especially when watching a lot of these old ads. It was amazing to me just how much retail there used to be compared to what there is now. And I hate seeing it disappear. And that retail takes many forms. Things like movie theaters and malls. Malls are disappearing. I was just telling my parents the other day, it's going to be sad because a lot of the next generation isn't going to have anywhere to really hang out because everything is so internet-based. The next generation isn't going to have a whole lot to be able to do outside of their home. And some people might argue that that's for the better because that's a bit safer, but I disagree. People need to get out into the world. They need to experience different things. They don't need to be cooped up at home. I'm already cooped up at home way more than I should be. part of that is because there really is nowhere to go. There used to be places like you could go to the mall and not spend any money, or very little money. There used to be a whole bunch of restaurants you could go to. Now the only ones that are really left are family chains. Most of the bigger chains are shrinking their dining rooms and closing them. It's really unfortunate. Ooh, he almost got me there. My health is stupid low. So, yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna make a video talking about why nostalgia is so powerful. I think that would be pretty well received. Or at least I hope it would be well received. I'm not gonna pretend to assume to know what people want. I'm probably not gonna be making as many videos in the future because I'm getting back into the... I'm at the point where I'm back into looking for jobs and seeing what's out there. So if I find something solid, I'm gonna try to stick to the streaming schedule as much as possible, but as far as uploads are concerned, that'll be almost completely random. It'll be based on when I have time. Because when I was working my last job, I was able to find time to do it, but I don't know what this next job will be like. I'm looking to make weekends free, so if I can do that, that'll be a positive. I hit retry there, I don't know why. Alright, golden wrench. Melting doesn't have any golden anything. Okay, you got golden grenade launcher. Steroids has a golden grenade launcher. Robot has the golden shotgun. Try robot. So I hope to be able to still stream consistently and make videos consistently, because it's fun, but I don't know what the future is going to bring in regards to that. Alright. You can eat your secondary weapon as robot. He doesn't have a role like Fish. His special is that he eats secondaries. And gets, I think it's either health or ammo, one or the other. It might be completely random as to which one, I don't remember. But yeah, it was a good day. I can't complain about how my day was. And I thought it was going to be a bad day because last night just did not feel good at all. Last night felt really bad. I did not have a good night last night. I didn't think I was going to get a lot of sleep. And technically I didn't. But by God's grace, I was able to get a good night's, or have a decent day, regardless of the amount of sleep I had. It's a very laid-back day, didn't have to do a whole lot. Alright, where's the big bandit? Oh, he's up there. I know I was messaging you. Yeah, you heard a little bit about that. I'm just saying in general for people watching. Alright, 4+ max HP, better weapon nutrition. I'll do 4+ max HP. If that better weapon nutrition comes up again, I'll probably end up using it. This is probably one of my least favorite sections, is the sewers. bazooka. I don't think I can use this to open the manhole. I'll try. Oh, hey, it worked. I mean, something worked. Shells bounce further, absolutely. Always want to get that if you have a shotgun. For this effect. Alright. Don't need to worry about the golden car. My mood hasn't been great today. I understand that. I absolutely do. It depends on the day. It really does. Life is a day-to-day experience, you know? Some days you can have a really good mood, other days you can have bad. But after a really bad mood day yesterday, I found what I needed to have a good mood today. I just was able to refocus and I tried everything to distract my mind from what was going on. Or for what... I was distracting my mind from what it was trying to focus on, and it ended up working really well. It won't always work. Sometimes I have to do a little extra and pray more. But by God's grace, it worked today. So I absolutely understand not having the greatest mood. Dang it. I'll do one more one as a robot, but I don't think I'm going to stick with it. Fish is honestly my best character. Well, technically Crystal is. I think I made it the furthest with Crystal. But I like Fish because of his speed and movement. Alright, no portal, so there's one more guy. Alright. But yeah, I mean, it's not fun when you have a bad mood day. Motivating myself to go to church tomorrow. You absolutely should. It makes a huge difference, and that's one of my biggest mistakes is I'm not going regularly anywhere where I should be. I need to start looking into places more. I was having that conversation with my mother yesterday. Being surrounded with a community makes all the difference in the world. So, absolutely should. Eventually, I'm going to clean myself up, put something decent on, and go to a community, go to a nice church community. Alright, this is tough. More speed on terrain, higher ammo max. Yeah. This is good because the corpses fly around and they knock into each other. I don't think they can knock into you. At least I don't think they can. See them fly. But yeah, the best solution for having a bad day really is to surround yourself with community. It'll do you a world of favors. Alright. So I am going to try going back to Fish. Just being surrounded by good friends in general, good people in general, is gonna do wonders for your mood. When I was younger and was really struggling, that made a huge difference. It's just harder for me now because I have to kind of start over. The church community I had isn't really the same. A lot of the same people have moved on, and a lot of them have gotten older and have started families, so they just don't have time, and it's just not the same. So I still talk to several of them, but I'm not really in community with them actively because they can't be. They don't have the time. And it's not their fault, it's just life. Oh, I thought I was robot. I was going to try to eat that. That was my mistake. There's the screwdriver. In case case I want another golden weapon. I really don't, though. I just want to stick with the shotgun. I think impact wrist is pretty solid. I ignore it way too much. Because if these guys can knock into each other, they can harm each other. And I don't think they harm you. Let's test it. Yeah, no, they don't harm you, so it's definitely worth getting. Oh, you had a freezer that broke too. I had that happen 2 months ago. Actually, it was the whole fridge. We had to get a whole new fridge. So I had to move stuff from the fridge to the freezer. It was not fun. It is not fun. Gotta make sure every once in a while that get those things inspected. I think with the new one, I'm going to be talking to my dad about having us do that. We just got to make sure we change filters regularly and make sure the components in the back are solid. My new fridge in some ways feels kind of plasticky and cheap, but it's not cheap. I know that. I know my dad doesn't cheap out on those things. It's just the way that things are designed now. They don't feel as solid as they used to. My parents ordered a new fridge and stove today. Nice. Yeah, we don't need a new stove yet, thankfully, but we definitely needed a new fridge. Alright. Shotgun shoulders, 100%. Toxic bow, I'll take it. It's a good one to have. Max shells and almost max bolts. New appliances are good. New stuff in general is fun. I'm thinking about getting new shoes again because I'm ruining my other ones taking my dog out. Because my yard is all muddy. Fridge and stove lasted 21 years. Hey, that is impressive, and that's good. Then again, I've only lived in the house that I'm in since 2012. And we got some new appliances then, but we had to get a new faucet recently too. We had it installed. I think I talked about that in the last stream because it was going on then. But 21 years, that is a solid amount of time for stuff to work. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting another pair of sneakers that are like mine, but they've got some orange in them. It'll just depend. It probably won't be this month, but at some point this year I would like to. Be really nice. I didn't realize that they had other designs and they had ones in orange, so the store I went to didn't have them. So part of the reason I didn't know. Awesome. Toxic bow is great. Alright, and there's a bouncer SMG, huh? No, I'm gonna keep this. Alright, there's one enemy left. There we go. Max energy, more health. The trick to this game is to keep moving because it makes it harder for stuff to hit you. In that case, I had too many bullets coming towards me at once. There was nothing I could really do. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Those would be... If I can get those Skechers that I want, it'll be really nice. And I won't use them to take the dog out. I'll use the other ones. But it has been a good day mentally. I've just kept myself busy thinking about positive things. Like watching those old nostalgic commercials was really fun. I think the channel on YouTube that has the completion of them is, I think it's called Dave's Archives, I think. But I'm not entirely sure. I've thought about, I'm gonna make that video on nostalgia, but I think I might, in the future, do a nostalgia streams. Just talking about old cartoons and shows. Sort of like a live podcast, kind of like what I do with the Bad Gamepad podcast, but live, and about specific topics. Which I still need to do another episode of that podcast while I can. Alright. Pop rifle, there we go. Pop rifle is better than the machine gun, in my opinion. Better fire rate. Much better fire rate. Alright. Where's the last enemy? There he is. Yeah, no, I love my dog. There's some times where she's a chore. Definitely. She's been waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And, she never used to do that, so that's a little frustrating. But it's alright. She's worth it. And she can't really... Unfortunately, she's the type of dog who I can't really leave her alone. She does not do well alone, even for little periods of time. She will just bark and bark and bark, and we just don't want that. She's got horrible separation anxiety, like really bad. And I don't know if it's something that can really be trained out of her. I'd have to consult the dog behaviorist to figure that out. I'm thinking about trying to get some stuff with my gaming logos on them, some merchandise. Get a hat and a t-shirt made for myself, and then if the channel grows, see if anybody would be interested in buying it. But I've been meaning to make one for myself for a while. But I've changed logos so much, too, that it's been hard to get that done. But I'm going to stick with the one that I have for a while, because it pretty much encompasses the design that I've wanted to make. I just haven't sat down and made until now. I'd be happy to doggy sit her if I didn't live in Canada. Yeah, no, I'd appreciate that, too, because it means I could go way more places. I really can't go anywhere. That's part of my problem, is I can't go anywhere because I have to stay with her, which I don't mind, but I think mentally it's not good for me. Yeah, I pushed through a number of walls. I think that's going to save my life, really. I just got to remember that I have this perk on so that I don't end up leaning up against walls for cover. Grenade launcher so I can hit the sewers. But yeah, I'd like to get some merch made for myself. I'd probably do it through custom ink if no one else. What does she like to play with? She's very intelligent to play with. I usually use a laser pointer with her. That's her favorite toy. She likes to chase it. Most other things, she kind of catches on real quick to what's going on and stops. Like if you're throwing a ball, she'll stop chasing it. She's got it trained in her mind that every time, because when she was a puppy, we tried to train her to eat kibbles after she would chase a ball. So she's got it in her mind, if you pick up a ball or you touch a ball, that she's got to eat kibbles. And we can't get her to stop doing it. And now she'll only eat kibbles if throwing a ball is involved. And we want to try to get her to just eat kibbles regularly instead of wet food. But she's a handful sometimes. I'm not gonna act like she's easy, because she's not. I mean, I love her to death, but there are times where it's like it's 2 or 3 in the morning. You're trying to get some sleep, and she needs to go out and at least pee. And that's not great. That's really not great. And I need to ask the vet about it, but hopefully we'll eventually get it figured out. Toxic launcher and splinter pistol. I'll stick with the toxic launcher because, or actually, splinter pistol isn't bad. It hits pretty hard. But the thing is that the toxic launcher, yeah, the toxic launcher has that ability to have the toxic after effects. Oh, I was dropping frames bad there. Alright, it looks like it stopped. No, I got some audio skip there. I don't know what's happening. Oh, I was too close to him and I got killed by the explosion. That's the danger of pushing through a limited number of walls. What? Is that a glitch? These guys were all dead. She's your furry child. Yes, no, that's how I tried to treat her, absolutely. But just like having a child, there are days where it's frustrating. Like, there are days you'll take her out and she needs to go to the bathroom, but she's just distracted by any and everything, and she'll just sit there and listen to all the sounds around her instead of actually doing her business. That gets irritating. And then there are days, especially on a night where it's freezing cold. And these nights have tended to have been cold. I know the days have been warm, which is really nice, but the nights have been cooler. So, it's incredibly frustrating. And the days have still been warm. They've gotten a little colder, but I'd still consider them more fall-like. Like, there are still more days where you don't need a jacket than you do. Now, you could get away with, and even when it's colder, you don't have to have the biggest jacket around. You can get away with some lighter clothing. Like, you won't get cold in jeans or anything light. But going out late at night, it gets really cold. Oh yeah, your dog will mark his territory. She marks hers too. If I walk her a solid distance, she will mark her territory quite frequently. But if I'm just taking her out to go on the front lawn or in the backyard, because my front lawn is nothing. My front lawn is just like a patch of grass that's only a couple feet. Because I live in a townhouse, I don't have a real front lawn anymore. So I have to walk her over to, there's a patch of land between two of the townhouses that I can take her over to, and she'll do her business there. That's usually where I take her. But my front lawn, if it's late at night, I'll just take her in the front lawn, and she'll do her business there, no problem. It might take her a little bit, but she'll do it. And I don't have to go far. Which I don't like going far in the night. Even though it's a safe neighborhood, I don't like going far in the middle of the night to have her do her business, because I don't feel like it's safe. And it's harder to see, even though I have a light cap and a flashlight. Like I was saying, it's as far as the weather is concerned, it's been very decent. It's been very decent. It's just nights are probably the harder part, and it's hard to get my bedroom the right temperature at night. Because if I use my portable heater, it gets too warm. But if I don't, it gets too cold. And if I use my fan, it's extra cold air on me. So... yeah, I don't know what caused those frame drops. Hopefully it doesn't pop up again. I think maybe my computer did something in the background while I wasn't aware. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I might wait and make my nostalgia video tomorrow. I was going to make it tonight, but I might wait till tomorrow. It's getting cold here again. Yeah, that's kind of what it's doing here, is it's getting cold here again. It's still not like I can still go out in lighter clothing, but it's getting to the point where I at least need a jacket. Because it was in the 50s, but now it's in the 40s. And I think tomorrow... I'm not sure what the temperature is supposed to be tomorrow. If it's supposed to be colder or warmer. I should check. I think it's going to be, or I hope it's going to be at least a little warmer and not much colder. Laser rifle. Just got to remember that these snipers explode. Because I like the cold. There's certain levels of cold that I don't particularly care for because it hurts my skin. That's usually what they describe as biting cold, and I'm not a big fan of that. But I have no idea what the temperature is supposed to be tomorrow, and I really should look. Dang it, that was careless. This section I almost always tend to get overly careless and die. I can make it through it if I'm really focused, but if I'm streaming I'm not entirely focused, so it's just going to be a bunch of death looping. But these are genuine runs, don't get me wrong. They're not half-hearted attempts at all. I play this game a lot because it's like, it's basically the same type of game as Blazing Peaks. It's just with some minor differences. Or actually, a couple major differences. And I reference this game a lot when playing Blazing Peaks. Alright, that's the last one. Yeah, for one, you have portals instead of doors once you clear the entire room, and you have to clear the entire room of enemies. It's all randomly generated. Which Blazing Beaks is also. There's no store. You just pick up weapons as you find chests. Boss enemies are just spawned usually the last room at the end of that section, which is similar to Blazing Beaks. Instead of being a door, it's just there through that next portal. It's really nice. I mean, it came out in 2015, so it predates Blazing Beaks, and I think it might even predate Enter the Gungeon. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Enter the Gungeon is the other one, but it's my least favorite. I have it, but I'm not very good at it. I'm a lot better at this than Blazing Beaks. But I've never made it to the nuclear throne. And I want to make it because I want to make it specifically with fish because it's alternate skin. How you get it is by doing a full run. But it does get hard. As these games tend to. But I don't usually give up. Oh, there's the manhole. Yeah, this level's interesting because you have two exits. You have the manhole cover, which can only be opened with explosives, and then you have the regular way of just defeating the enemies. But that won't take you the same way as the manhole. Yeah, damage taken is double enemies. I like that. Sawed-off shotgun, don't really need it. Alright. I gotta watch myself because those robo snipers. The grenade launcher is really good for this level because it can take out these flame pillars. Alright, more frame skips. I don't know why I'm losing frames. What else is running? Nothing else is running. It's just deciding to randomly drop frames. It might need an update. OBS might need an update. Oh, wrong weapon. That could have been disastrous. Sawed-off shotgun. Don't need it. The reason I'm not picking up shotguns is because I have this golden shotgun, and it just wastes the ammo pool. Even though it might be a better shotgun. Regular shotguns are fine. They do enough damage. Alright. Yeah, we'll do this. Prevents death once, so this could at least save my butt at least once. Lightning rifle. Yeah, I'll take it. This thing is a little funky in how it works. I was losing frames again. Okay. Oh, that was a little too close for comfort. Alright, took some damage there that I probably shouldn't have. That assassin could have been the enemy. I don't have the perk for energy weapon damage, so yeah, it took him a lot longer to die than normal. But I got through the section at least, and he's one of the harder bosses, so... Extra chest spawn, yes please. Double shotgun. The game keeps giving me shotguns when I've got this golden one. I don't like it. But this weapon's going to be really good for dealing with these crystals. I hate these enemies so much because they do stupid amounts of damage. Yeah, they basically had me trapped to rights in there. I couldn't do anything. That was a horrible, horrible arrangement. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow turns out good. It'll probably depend on how much sleep I get. My parents will probably end up going to church, so I'll end up babysitting the dog for them, and then when they come home, I might actually go out and do some grocery shopping. And then depending on if I make the nostalgia video tonight, then I'll either upload it tonight or tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I might actually end up editing and finally uploading the rest of Metroid Fusion. Because I know people have been waiting for the rest of Metroid Fusion. And it is coming. I pretty much only got one episode left to edit, and then I can start getting ready to upload it. But I've also got to make the thumbnails. And that'll probably be my last Let's Play for a while, again, depending on what happens with my job situation. Because it's going to be a lot harder to find time to make dedicated Let's Plays. It'll probably be easier just to stream the games that I want to play. Alright. And that sucks for me because I really do want to be able to... Let's Play more. But life and time and circumstances may not allow for it, and that's just how it goes. Made quick work of the big vandal there. And there's an SMG and another SMG. I think I'm gonna keep the laser. If I can get the energy weapons deal more damage perks. Some kills regenerate ammo or get full HP and stuff. Yeah, I'll do this just to be safe. I don't know what I'm gonna deal with here. Fortunately, I don't have anything to open up the manholes. I'm gonna have to go the regular way, which really is the same direction. It's just one less stop. I don't get to go to the secret sewer or whatever it's called. Oh, see, these guys do a lot of damage. I hate it when you're on a run you get more armed people in the sewers. I'm fine dealing with the rats, especially having a shotgun, but some of these guys end up being frustrating. And you get those toxic waste barrels. There's a machine gun there. Okay, do I want to keep the laser or do I want the machine gun? I'll keep the laser, because I think I'm going to burn through ammo for the machine gun very quickly. Ow. Alright. Oh, man, are you serious? I forgot that he explodes into... That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. But yeah, I really want to... My goal with this channel was to make more Let's Plays. That was my goal, was to be primarily a Let's Play channel. But unfortunately, it's going to have to be every once in a while that I do it, because Let's Plays just take so much time with editing and making the thumbnails. I don't have to do nearly as much editing as other people, which is nice. But it's very time consuming, and I don't have a whole lot of time in abundance. I do right now, but once I get another job, I won't. So, unless I can manage to get weekends off, but then I'm really going to have to crunch my weekends into doing that. So, don't have to worry as much about time management at the moment, which is both a blessing and a curse. Yeah, pop gun, that's gonna do me a lot better here. Gotta watch out for these guys shooting. Good grief, that hails of bullets. Those scorpions are the most annoying enemy. And it's one of the what you really don't want is one of the brown scorpions, the ones that have some of the more toxic mutations, because they put out so many projectiles. It's unbelievable. Depends on the kind of job you get. Absolutely, it does. My last job, I had a lot of time for YouTube, but this job I might not have as much, depending on what it is. I still don't know what it's going to be. You know, I'm going to be applying really soon to different places, so. And I haven't been out of work too long. It's really been since August, so hasn't been too bad. Oh, I'm dry. That's not good. I don't need shells, I need bullets. And I really... Oh, good. The game's reading my mind and giving me HP. Sometimes I have to work weekends. Yeah, it just depends on your employer and what they want. My last employer, I told them absolutely no Sundays. And they agreed to that. I don't need a double shotgun. I just need bullets for what I got. But yeah, my last employer, I was able to say absolutely no Sundays, and they were like, okay, good. So I at least got Sundays. But this time, I am going to say both Saturdays and Sundays. I want the weekends to be able to stay the weekends. I don't really have a choice, lol. Yeah, that's probably just what your employer wants. I personally wouldn't take a job if they wouldn't agree to a specific day off, because I don't really feel that's right. And most companies that I've applied to have generously asked what days are you not willing to work. So that works out good for me, at least. It's only going to be part-time anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. I am excited to start working again, though, because being cooped up at home I've done for so many years, and going back to that after having worked the job that I did was way more difficult than I realized. I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be easy. I've done it for years, but once you get into a rhythm, and just getting out of it is incredibly difficult. Saw some weird audio frame drops there, so gotta make sure I'm not dropping frames, which I'm not. I'm not sure what's causing that. Alright, full HP and some ammo, more HP from medkits, less enemy HP, prevents death. This is just a waste, other than for ammo. I'm gonna go ahead with this. The screwdriver's not a bad melee weapon. If you get increased melee range, it can be pretty dangerous. But it's mostly just a tool for opening up the golden car in the third area so you can get to a golden weapon. The people renting the church building on the weekends that bring me into work. Yeah, you would describe that to me because you do that sort of work, that sort of janitorial and preparatory type work. So, and that makes sense. Because I was in a grocery store, there was enough people to where I didn't have to work a certain day. I could pick at least one day that I could have off dedicated. And I'm hoping my next job is as flexible. But I don't know I really don't know what it'll be. But I like to have the weekends to be able to relax and just do certain things, especially if what I'm doing is very stressful. And hopefully it's not. You know, I'm going to be very selective with what I'm looking for. I don't want something that's uber stressful, but something that's productive but not uber stressful. I want to be productive to a company, but I don't want to be you know, I don't want to be so stressed out that I can't effectively do the job. Alright, I need to start shotgunning here. There we go. And now there's another enemy left. Just some maggots. There we go. But yeah, those completions or compilations of old 80s and 90s commercials, those are several hours. And it's just crazy how they used to do them, especially the ones in the 80s that I didn't grow up with. They were pretty interesting. I've thought about doing streams reacting to something like that, but because other streamers do that, I'm not sure that I want to. I mean, other streamers do what I'm doing too, but it's not terribly original. If there was another custodian, I would be able to have days off, but I'm the only... But I am the custodian. I'm the only part-time as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's tough, and it's to where they have to rely on you. That's not a situation I'd like to be in. But sometimes it just can't be helped. It's amazing how many people just don't want to work. They don't want to be productive. I spent years not being able to work and not being productive, and all I wanted to do was work. But then there are people who are like, well, I'm not getting paid enough to keep up with inflation, so I don't want to work. It's like, well, you might need to actually work twice if you want to, you know, have some money to put away in your pocket. You might not have to do it forever, but people got a budget. I mean, that's plain and simple. They've got a budget. They've got to be responsible with their money, not just impulse buy. When you know that you've got money that you can spend, just spend it wisely. Be sure to save. Rainy day, having money for a rainy day is never a bad thing. Yeah, it's unfortunate I get burnt out sometimes. That is... You really got to be careful with that, and I say that just knowing... Now, I know there's probably not much you can do in your situation, but really be careful with that, because if it gets too bad, it's not going to be healthy for you to be able to keep doing it. If it gets to where it's more consistent than not, then you might have to seek something else. But I'm glad where I work. Yeah, no, and that's good. That's good. And if it's just occasional burnout, then that's something that you can just adjust to. But I mean, honestly, some people it gets really bad. My last job, the only reason I didn't stay, because I was gonna stay for a year because I already wasn't, the way it was changing, I already just wasn't doing well. But it got to the point where I was in so much pain every day, I just couldn't deal with it, because I had plantar fasciitis, and I was lifting way more than I was told I was going to be lifting, and moving way more than I was told I was going to be moved. So the job changed. Honestly, the job changed, and the requirements changed. Even my coworker that I really liked, she said, yeah, the job's definitely changed. And that happens sometimes, and sometimes if you can, you have to be willing to walk away. Just make sure you've got some sort of financial stability before doing so. It's occasional burnout, but no worries, my friend. Okay, good. That's absolutely good. If you can deal with it, then that's, you know, hang in there. My job, it was just it became too physically painful, and it became to where I couldn't do what I needed to do at home. And I'm hoping and praying that my next job ends up being more manageable in that sense, to where I'm not having such bad days at work that I'm coming home and just not able to do anything. It's just how it is, you know? That's the struggles of work. But back to my original point, I'm a strong gal. Yes, you are. Absolutely. Back to my original point, there's so few people willing to work in this day and age, even with part-time. And then they expect part-time to be full wage. It's like, you really can't expect that. These are largely entry-level jobs. Most of the people who have them are older folks and teenagers. They're not meant to be lived off of. And I know there are people who try to countervail that and say, no, that's not true. Well, at one point it wasn't, but they've become that, and that's what they are now. They really can't be changed. People think that companies are just being greedy with part-time, and this is something that gets me incredibly frustrated. People tend to think that companies are just being greedy with part-time and holding out money that they owe their employees. And while there might be a couple of cases of that, they pay people what they can literally afford to pay them. If you've ever run a business before, you understand the costs involved. And part of what you have to factor into those costs is what you can afford to pay your employees. If you can afford to pay the minimum wage, then you pay the minimum wage, and that's that. And if those wages can't keep up with inflation, that's not the company's fault. They're paying you what they agreed to pay you. But people feel entitled to more because they live lifestyles where they spend too much money just carelessly. You don't want to spend carelessly. You want to make sure that when you buy something, A, you have the money to buy it, and B, you're not bleeding into money that you need for the essentials. You know, you shouldn't live that way. But in America, at least, I don't know about Canada, but in America, people are so impulsive with their purchasing that they're so impulsive with what they want. They have to have the latest and greatest of everything. So they buy things that they can't afford. They get themselves in all sorts of different payment plans. And some payment plans are okay, but that's only if you know you can pay something off. A lot of people do not pay off what they owe on their credit cards. And they end up in a lot of trouble. That's why I only pay when I know I have money. And I only buy things that I know I can afford. Also, people don't tend to make stuff last. That's another thing. People don't want to make products last like they should. If you make products last, there's one of the scorpions I was talking about. These guys are terrible. On top of a bad bandit. Marketing is insane here right now. Yeah, part of the problem definitely is marketing. And that's one thing I noticed with these older commercials that I was watching. All these nostalgic 80s and 90s commercials. Marketing is incredibly effective. If there's a lot of budget and entertainment value behind marketing, it can have an effect on people. But nowadays, marketing is more annoying than anything else. And if it's for something that I know I'll never buy, it's like, oh yeah, I might be entertained by it, but I'm never going to buy that product because either I have no use for it or I just don't like the product. But it definitely works on people who do like it. But it's sad because commercials and advertisement are more obnoxious now than I think they've ever been. When they used to be genuinely entertaining. Ad agencies, something has happened with ad agencies. It's like the philosophies have completely changed. Ad agencies are not concerned about entertaining and selling product anymore. They're just concerned with the only entertainment factor they're concerned with is what they think is trendy at the moment. And they more often than not get that completely wrong. Because they don't consult anybody of any actual knowledge as to what's trendy and what's popular. They only do just sort of random surveys and studies. And the way that they collect data is very inaccurate. Because the results end up being just crazy. The housing market? Oh yeah, the housing market here is terrible too. The housing market is 100% terrible. Like, I wouldn't buy a house right now. My goal is eventually to buy a house of my own instead of renting, but it's going to be a long ways off before that. And also, I might end up inheriting my parents' house. But if there's time before that, I wouldn't mind buying and owning a small house. And then if something happens to them, I figure out if I want to just move back in here or if I want to just stay where I'm at if I'm in a house of my own. If I'm in a house of my own, I might just stay there and sell it. If it's a good house anyway. If it ends up being a pain, then I'll just move back in here and then figure out what to do. Let's see. What do I want? Push through a limited number of walls. This is going to come back to bite me, but there I can see places where I'm going to need it, and this might be one area I do. Okay. all out of bullets. Well, not anymore. I would like a higher ammo max. Something's locked on to me. I don't know what it was. But yeah, the housing market is absolutely terrible. However, I think some people are talking about the economy bouncing back because people are still spending like crazy. So, who knows? If we have a miniature recession, it might not be as bad as people are predicting. Who knows, honestly? I haven't the slightest idea. I'm not an economist of any sort. I just know the housing market is terrible. And there's a lot of shortages of consumer goods still, even after the pandemic. Which is really disturbing. If the supply chains don't stabilize, then we're going to be in for way more problems than any sort of relief. Especially if people aren't willing to go back to work. If people aren't willing to go back to work, then supply chains are going to really suffer. And we can't afford that. Alright, flare gun. Yeah, I'll take it. Boom. Signal for help. Yeah. That's because I picked up the flare. Let's see. Alright, that worked out really well. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Once they have you backed into a corner, even though I had to push through the walls, if they've got you on a corner and there's a big cluster of them firing on you, you're going to have a bad day. You're going to have a real bad day. But yeah, the consumer market is doing just fine. People are still spending money they don't have, so... And that's a habit that I don't think America or the West will ever break. And quite frankly, I don't think companies want them to break that habit. I think companies want people to spend wildly and recklessly. They'll never outright say it, but they'll still continue to sell their products, and they'll continue to offer, like, discounts and whatever, because they want to stay in business. But it's largely unsustainable. It really is. I know that much. I'm not an economist, but I know that the way we're doing things right now is super unsustainable. They said that the 90s was a time of some of the most disposable income ever in America, at least. Which is kind of crazy to think about, and it makes sense when you look at the marketing. But there were also a lot of technological advancements that were just coming through, like the mobile phone. The internet was just starting to get into people's homes. Way less than in the 2000s, but it was there. The people who could afford it got it, and it wasn't great, but it was something new. It was the future. The people who invested in that sort of thing way back in the 70s and 80s, into the 90s and now, they were very smart. Investing into computing companies was one of the smartest things you could do, depending on the company. Especially some of the heavy hitter computing companies. But the ones investing in the home computers and the mobile phone companies, because many of the mobile phone companies survive till today to make smartphones, and, well, those all speak for themselves. They were very smart. Because there's no way to predict the future like that. There's all sorts of trends that happen. There's all sorts of trends with electronics, with entertainment. Then people are like, well, I wanna get in and invest on these things. It's like, well, you never really know. You're pretty much gambling when you do stuff like that. I'm not a fan of that, but it is amazing to see how consumer electronics ended up being a good investment for people in the 90s and early 2000s. Because that market just absolutely took off. It's a little bit weaker now with smartphones doing much of everything, but there's still sectors of it that are doing really, really well. I think the Consumer Electronics Show is actually coming up pretty soon, if it's not already going on. CES. I saw an ad for something, I think it was an electric car at CES. Every once in a while I like to check in on CES when it happens. It happens at the beginning of the year. I think it does happen this month. And that's where you get to see a lot of the new technology that's available on offer. But there's also a chip shortage going on. And that's going to affect a whole lot of consumer electronics. So we probably won't see a lot of new video game consoles and certain things for a long time due to that. Because from what I understand, it's not a quick fix chip shortage either. It's a little bit concerning. If the model starts to go away from that, we could easily see a revival of retail, as it were. If it gets to the point where they can't make new smartphones, oh man. That will be a complete market shift. %100%. I don't foresee that actually happening, but if supply shortages get bad enough, I could definitely see a return to brick and mortar retail being a big thing that happens, and I would love it. I would be all for it, but I know a lot of people wouldn't. Mainly because I lived in the brick and mortar retail era, the end of it, really. I remember stores that are long gone, like Sears, Kmart, Ames. Ames was a good one. All sorts of box stores that basically were Walmart. But Walmart was the most successful, Walmart and Target, so they were the only ones that survived. And they adapted to the online culture. Walmart has a next-day delivery that's really, really good, and it's comparable to something like Amazon. So they're playing it smart. They're playing it real smart. I wouldn't sleep on Walmart as a retailer. Plus, there's some stuff that they have that's absolutely great. Some of Walmart's deals are incredible. If you're somebody who spends a lot of money on different clothing, Walmart has some clothing for cheap that's not of bad quality. If you like certain t-shirts and hats, those are great priced. Their shoes are amazingly priced. You can walk away at Walmart with some decent shoes for like $15 if you know how to look. And they are of, and they're, in some cases they're Walmart brand, but they are not of terrible quality. Same with Target, really. If you know what to look for, you can walk away with some really good deals there, and you don't have to compromise quality at all. Some things I wouldn't buy, like a really good I wouldn't buy a Walmart brand appliance unless I knew it was good. But like their clothing, their shoes, their accessories, they're decent. Zellers was a great store in the days here in Canada. It sounds familiar. I don't know if that was in the United States or not. I don't think so. But a lot of those box stores were phenomenal. And Walmart and Target basically just cornered that entire market and just basically ground it in the dust. They started doing things that Walmart and Target started doing things that the other stores just couldn't keep up with. They were doing what the other stores were doing, but better. And that's how they got to where they are. I miss the way that Walmart used to be. Walmart actually used to have a ton more stuff than they do now. They've actually, part of what they've had to do is they've had to really shrink, and I think they've shrunk even further. because of the online component. They've shrunk a lot of what's in their box stores. But if Walmart was to ever shut down as a box store, it could survive online, and I think that's what they've set themselves up for. But you better hope that that doesn't happen, because that's gonna signal the end of the brick-and-mortar box store, and if that happens, people are gonna lose jobs. People are going to they're gonna lose ability to have places to go. Like, that's really what scares me, is thinking of people losing the ability to go to shops, or shops being so reduced and simplified to next to nothing. I'm not saying that going to Walmart in the modern day is a great experience by any means. It's actually pretty sucky. But it's still part of the human experience, and there are some places where you absolutely need it. Because people need to get out. They need to socialize with people around them, even if it's just small interactions at the store. Got him. Alright. Got the pop gun. Running very low on ammo. And low on health now. But yeah, I don't want to see any of the remaining box stores. I'd like to see more box stores return. Like franchises we just mentioned. Maybe they can start out as websites and say our goal is to be brick and mortar again and to do a hand-in-hand thing. That's how I think it should be. Like, you can be able to pick up stuff that you order online at the store. If for some reason you live in an address that's not really friendly to delivering things to your door, which a lot of people do. A lot of apartment complexes, you can't have stuff delivered to your door, because a lot of the rules won't let you. Although I'm sure a lot of that's changed because of the nature of the internet, but I'm sure it still exists. I'm sure there are people who own apartments who don't let their tenants be able to have stuff delivered to their door, because it's just not productive, or the way the apartments are designed, it just doesn't work. I'm not a big fan of apartments. Some better than others, but I'd rather have separate housing or townhousing. But apartments can really go to crap really quickly. My sister lived in a decent one for a while, but eventually their goal was to get their own house, and they did. To their credit, they did. They saved and saved. They ended up renting a house, and then they finally outright bought one. It's a good one. They had to put some work into it, but once they did, it's been great to them, and they're probably going to stay there indefinitely. As for me, I wouldn't mind starting out an apartment if it was decent, but I wouldn't want to stay there. I'd want to make the same goal of having a small house of my own. And I do mean a small house. I don't mean anything large with a stupid amount of land, but something that's manageable for one person, maybe two. I don't see the point in having a big house. I'm not planning on having a family. Just big enough for me and possibly the dog, and if I have to take care of one of my parents as they get older. That is, if I'm able, if they're not to the point where they need to have assisted living. But my goal is eventually a house, as I think a lot of people's are, but right now is definitely not the time to even bother trying. I mean, I would save up now, but the market is really bad. At least from what I hear, anyway. The wasteland calls you. Yes, it does. I'm actually going to have to look into getting... There's a portable cooler I can get for my Switch. I just don't know how well they actually work. They seem to be well rated, because I saw them on Amazon, and I looked at their ratings. It seems to be well rated, and if it works, that would be a great solution instead of having to do a manual fan replacement. But I don't know. It might be worth, if it's a decent price, it might be worth at least trying, and then if it doesn't work, just replace the fan and then keep it in case that fan goes. Alright, I gotta do something because, like, I literally can't stream. I can't stream anything like Mario Kart or Splatoon because it's too graphically intensive. It'll heat up the Switch, and because my fan is completely dead, it won't cool at all. So it'll just shut down after maybe 5 minutes if I'm lucky. 5 to 10 minutes. It'll get extremely hot. I'd love to live on my own, but I'm terrified of it as well. Well, you know, I mean, it's like, it's one of those things where you need the financial security to be able to do it. And that's my biggest thing right now, is I don't have that financial security. Especially because of my work situation. I just don't have that. But my parents are getting up there. You know? So it's, I've got to really, I've got to really be able to have more financial security in order to be prepared for the inevitability of having to be on my own, you know? Because I'm pretty much semi on my own right now. It's just I'm with them. I pay them rent. I'm able to afford that. You know, I pay my way. I'm not just bumming off of my parents at 30. I just don't have the financial security to be able to rent a place or even to even own a place right now. Depending on what career prospects I have in the future, I don't know what that's going to look like. And it is somewhat worrying, but it's also hopeful, because I am willing to work and put in the work to be able to save. And I also want to be able to get a better vehicle, because the vehicle I have now is, it's good enough, it starts and it runs, but I don't ever want to get into an accident with it, because I don't trust its crashworthiness. At least not from the sides. If I was ever to get hit from the side, I don't know what would happen. Because it's an older sports car, and it's got big doors, but they're thin. There's not a whole lot of plating between the door and the passenger. It's really not built up. I would like to inevitably get a pickup truck. That's been my dream since the beginning. But it'll have to depend on a whole lot of things. Again, it comes with that financial security of a good job and being able to save up with your income for that good job. I accidentally triggered the police. That's not great. There we go. Yeah. I definitely need this, there's no question. Okay, I need help. Oh, too late. Too late. But yeah, I get anxiety over independence and financial security. I absolutely do. That's one of the things that's been bothering me for the past several weeks. You know, even though I'm 30 and I have work experience, it's like it's extremely little. And it's not for a lack of desire. It's because leading up to this point, I haven't been able to work. So I wasn't able to work till literally I was 29, and that's difficult. So in this process of finding something new, I've got at least 6 months of retail experience, but not much else. I'm hoping there's a good employer that's willing to take me, and I've got other skills as well. But I don't know what's really applicable to anything and what's out there. I know companies are desperate, so if a company's willing to have me, and I'll be willing to learn a lot of things if possible. But like I said, I really just want to find a job that... There's no such thing as a perfect job, obviously, but I want a job that's balanced. It's got a good work-life balance, and I can be productive for the company. Because, I mean, I did great at the grocery store I was at, Wegmans. I did tremendous there. It's a great grocery store to work at, if anybody's familiar with Wegmans. They're absolutely a wonderful grocery store to work for. I absolutely loved it there, but the job that I signed on for didn't end up being the job I left, so. It is what it is. Okay, what do I want? Better accuracy or kills regenerate? Kills regenerate. Oh yeah, I get 2 mutations because I leveled up twice. Haven't been paying attention. Extra chest is absolutely... Extra chest will save you here. But yeah, I'm hopeful for my career future. It's just going to be interesting to see what turns up and what I end up with. I'm hoping and praying that it gives me enough ability to continue to do this YouTube thing long term. If it doesn't, then I'll just make an announcement that I'll just pop in when I'm able, if life circumstances change. But I'm just praying it's good all around, and I'm trusting in the Lord that it will be. Alright, do I have an no, I don't know that I have an explosive. And that's the key to the future, is just trusting in the Lord and making sure that He is, knowing that He is in control of the future, and that you aren't. You can plan for the future, you can strategize, which you should, but ultimately He holds the future in His hands, and that is reassuring, because this world is incredibly upside down. I am not a fan of the direction that this overall culture is taking. It is way more divided than it's ever been. At least in America. Or it hasn't been this divided in America since the Civil War. And I am concerned about a second one popping off, because like I mentioned in the beginning of the video with the community manager of Limited Run Games being fired, there's a lot of ideological warfare going on. People are getting people fired for holding specific beliefs. That is happening. And if that continues to happen, it will escalate into something terrible. It's inevitable. Because people won't sit back and let their lives be ruined by other people just not liking their opinions. That's not going to fly. Right now, people are kind of just laying down and taking it, but it's not going to last. I don't want any sort of conflict to happen, and I think people need to stop trying to ruin other people's lives based on their opinions. I really do. You can have an opinion on somebody and have it not be positive and still not try to run to their employer and get them fired because of it. I'm tired of that. That's cancel culture, and it needs to stop, because you have no business interfering with somebody else's business over their opinions and interfering with the company over that, because people will express opinions separate of a company's values. It doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed to work for that company. You can express your own opinions and still work for a company that doesn't share your opinions. That should be life. That should be fundamental. But it's not. And it's frustrating to see. And like I said, if it keeps going, it's going to escalate into something terrible. And nobody wants that. There are people who think they want it. They don't want it. You don't want the culture war to go beyond where it's already at. The culture war is already getting nasty, and you don't want it to get worse, but it will. Once people are out of options and resources, it will get nasty. So if somebody expresses an opinion that you don't like, the best thing you can do is you can debate people, you can argue with people, but do not try to get them canceled or fired or anything like that. Because if you do, you're just fanning the flames of something that's much bigger than you and your opinion. Oh, no. No. There was no way I was going to live through that. Those scorpions are deadly. Absolutely deadly. And they don't spawn every run, but they seem to spawn every couple of runs. It is completely random after all. But yeah, this culture war is nasty. And I've made a video. I made a video talking about the culture war. just before my last stream I made a video talking about it, which I would highly recommend everybody go watch, because I actually scripted it out. It's the first time in a long time I've scripted out a video. I talked about what motivates wokeness in entertainment and why Hollywood is pushing their values on people, even if they don't share them. And what I think motivates it. Because a lot of people talk about Hollywood pushing specific values on the people, but a lot of people don't talk about why they do that. And why it's often met with hostility or with negativity. And I won't spoil it for anybody. I'll just let people go and watch it. But I think it's an important video. I think we need to get to a point where we can, at the very least, agree to disagree as people, because it is getting extraordinarily dangerous. People are losing their livelihood, their ability to earn a livelihood because of the opinions that they express. That's not okay under any circumstances. Governments that were run like that usually treated their people horribly. And if it starts with the citizenry doing that to itself, it'll eventually expand to the government starting to do it to its citizens. And that'll be a real big problem. If the citizens are willing to engage in mass censorship, then the government will be just as willing. People should be free to express an opinion. Even if that opinion seems wrong to you or I, they should be able to express it. And that's what we believe in America. But in many other places in the world, you can't do that. Even in America, as far as some companies are concerned, you can't do that. Or they'll fire you, like in this case with limited run games. And then they came out and said, oh, well, we really respect other people's opinions and a diversity of opinions, and it was plainly clear that they were doing damage control and it wasn't working. Because they weren't. They fired somebody on an ideological basis. They fired somebody because they expressed an opinion a long time ago on social media on something that isn't popular today. And people saw that, they got upset, and then they started finding reasons to try and get this person canceled, and ultimately it led to them getting fired. And as a result, I won't buy from limited run games anymore. Not until they either reverse or make this decision right. I'm not engaging with companies who are willing to engage in this sort of behavior. That is terrible. Your community manager should be allowed to express opinions on their own social media that doesn't reflect your company. People should be able to tell the difference. I don't care if they have to write a disclaimer saying my views are my own, but they should be allowed to do that and not lose their job. It's outright shameful. And it makes me, if you hear me sounding angry, it's because it does. It makes me angry. I heard about it right before I started the stream. And I said I wasn't going to focus on it, and I haven't for the most part of the stream. But it does frustrate me because I don't like seeing people get mistreated for having opinions. There are plenty of opinions I disagree with and think are wrong. I don't advocate for those people to be able to lose their livelihood. It's not fair. That's not right. That's not a slope that we want to slip down as a society, as a culture. Because I'm a student of history, and I've seen where this goes. This doesn't go good places. This leads to a lot of bad things. And it'll lead to history repeating itself. If companies are gonna start censoring people and dropping people for having opinions that they don't share, it's gonna hurt the job market too. Now people aren't thinking, because a lot of people are cheering this on, which is disgusting. Because people who share opinions they don't like are losing something, so they're like, ha, those evil people are getting their comeuppance. Well, no, they're not. This is gonna backfire because it's gonna affect you too eventually. When you're the one whose opinion is considered unsavory, then you might end up losing everything. That's not how this should work. We need to understand this as a culture, otherwise we are going to be in a lot of trouble. that's my rant for the night about that. That's one big problem people have with YouTube. There are certain things you can't say on YouTube. Some for legal reasons that make sense, but others are based on nebulous terms of service that don't make any sense and are purely ideological. It's one of the reasons I'm starting to slowly shift towards Rumble. Once Rumble improves, once Rumble gets playlists and starts to improve their live streaming, I might just consider being there exclusively. I really might. Because YouTube is not treating its creators very well, and they haven't been for a long time. And they put out a survey, and I let them know that that's exactly what they were doing. And I love YouTube. I've been on YouTube almost since the beginning. But I mean, I haven't been making videos since the beginning, but I've been watching since pretty much the beginning. And it was a much different place than it is now. What it is now is very censorious and very, very anti-user. Not anti-user, but un-user-friendly, if that's a word. People have to walk on eggshells all the time. In most cases, they'll just lose money, but if they aren't careful, they'll lose their entire channel, all of their work, and they won't be able to get it reversed. One of my favorites just ended up being recently demonetized, and he ended up giving up his channel because no matter how many times he tried to get it appealed, they just kept saying no, even though it was completely reasonable. But his position, even if it was controversial, was reasonable. Overall, he shouldn't have been able to lose his ability to make money over it. So I won't keep harping on about this all night, but it's on my mind and it's frustrating. I gotta think of more games to be able to stream while I can. Now that I've been on that long-winded rant, my throat is starting to get stupid sores. I gotta take a drink of water. Oh, boy. Alright, good stuff. And this is a good game to play for stream, because I can talk about a variety of subjects and not have to overly focus. I've been trying to look to see what people are saying are predictions for Nintendo for 2023 in terms of game announcements. There was one really stupid prediction I saw, which was that Tears of the Kingdom will be the last major first-party Nintendo Switch game. And already I know that's probably not true. It's 50-50 whether it's true or untrue, but a lot of people are hoping it's not, because the Switch is just doing tremendously. And even though the Switch has some flaws, Nintendo would be very foolish at this point in the game to just stop, especially if they've got projects in development and just moving it to the next system. It's great if they've got the next system ready, or near ready, but it's still too soon. I think the Switch has at least another year or two. Then after that, I think we'll see something. And I've got a lot of questions if it is. Number one, what about all the online services that we're paying for? Are they going to transfer over to this new console? They better, because we're paying for them. A lot of rumors have been floating around about a Switch Pro, and a lot of people are saying that the Switch Pro is dead. That they're just going to do something completely new. But I think, based on statements I've said, they're committed to the Switch as long as possible. And that could be up to at least 10 years, if not more. And before anybody says it's impossible, it's definitely not. Switch is a really balanced console. It's not the most powerful in the world, but it doesn't need to be. It can handle a level of HD, especially with Nintendo's own development teams. Third-party developers are a little different, but... And plus, a lot of people just can't afford to up and buy a new console for $400 or $500 yet. And then people have mentioned the chip shortage as well, so it doesn't make sense for Nintendo. Because, I don't know if anybody remembers, but when the original Switch came out, it was incredibly hard to get. It involved a stupid amount of planning, because Nintendo did a very poor job of supply and demand. The worst I've seen. Even worse than the original Wii. And the original Wii was tough. They were almost caught off guard with the original Wii. I'm enjoying the Switch. Yeah, I am too. I think it is my favorite modern Nintendo console. I like it more than the Wii. I wish the Wii U had gotten... more love than it did, but unfortunately, it didn't do well. But they bounced back with the Switch, and they're doing better than ever now. And plus, they've got the Mario movie coming out, and so financially, they're going to be doing well for many years to come. Many years. Well, the Switch has the versatility. I mean, the amount of indie games alone can sustain it, at least for me. I'm not somebody who particularly cares about many first-party games. I mean, I like first-party games, especially Nintendo first-party games. They're some of the best in the world. But, you know, indie games are tremendous. This is an indie game. This is one of the best indie games I've ever played. And it was developed by, I think, 2 guys. The studio isn't very many people. So there's a lot of creativity going on in the indie sphere, and as long as Nintendo gives people development kits and access, it only benefits them. And plus, the Switch is the only portable console, mainstream console left. There are other portable consoles, but they're mostly just emulation boxes. The one that I like is the Retroid Pocket 3. I'm thinking about getting one of those. But... because it actually is like a Game Boy. And it's primarily an Android system, but people use it for other things. If I'm going to play Android games, I'd rather play something with buttons than with a touchscreen. The only games for me that are okay with a touchscreen are card games and some strategy games. Alright. This gun. There we go. But yeah, I love the Switch. The game library already is astounding. It really is. And they're having a sale right now, a whole bunch of games. As far as I'm aware. Might have to double check. And if you're watching this later on, it probably doesn't apply. As of the time of this, there's a sale going on, so I figure I'll mention it. Always take advantage of sales whenever they pop up. And the Great Deals tab on the eShop. Because you might find something that's good. You might have to look it up on YouTube to see how it actually is. I like to use certain Switch channels like Switch Force and Nintendo Life. Switch Up, I think, is another one. I think Switch Up is the one with the owl. I like that a lot because they focus on a lot of indie games. But I do like Nintendo Life as well. Nintendo Life is a good news source for Nintendo. Alright, there is a grenade launcher, and I should pick it up. And that was a smart decision, because these guys are everywhere. Alright. Beautiful. What's in this ammo box? Bolts? Alright. Make sure I got everything. Looks like I did. There's a laser pistol, but I think the grenade launcher will be an overall better option for yours truly. Dang it. I'm going to try to at least hit the 2-hour mark, and then I think I'm going to call it, because I'm going to have to probably take my dog out again and try to unwind for the night and get some decent sleep, hopefully. The wind hurts. Well, when it's cold, it does. When it's cold, it bites. Like a snake. Like an invisible snake. Which might be tonight, which I'm not looking forward to taking my dog out if that's the case. Message me. Oh yeah, I'll message you after I'm done on stream, for sure. Let's see, less enemy HP. Because I definitely won't be going to bed after I stream. I don't know, even though I might be a bit tired. But I'll keep going for sure. I'll probably be up watching more commercials, some old cartoons, all that stuff. Just trying to unwind. Maybe see what other live streams on YouTube I missed. Because I know I got notified of a couple of live streams that were going on while I was streaming. Oh, and I got one of those brown scorpions. Those things are so nasty. They look nasty, and they've got twice as many projectiles as the purple ones. It's always satisfying to take them out. Always satisfying. Yeah, I might check and see what other live streams and watch them back as I, start chatting with people on Messenger and things like that. Also got a Discord for anybody wondering. I might end up posting my... I'm trying to make it so that people don't particularly have to join my server if they don't want to. And that people can just message me directly on Discord. But as of right now, I do have a server set up, but it's very exclusive. I don't let just everybody on there, only people that I invite. And I'm slowly trying to build up a community that way. And once I start trying to open it up a little bit, I might put out an invitation, but that's all depending on a lot of different factors, so... Alright, there's a grenade launcher, so I'm gonna open up the manhole cover here, get the crossbow. I think that'll be a better option. And then better accuracy. Definitely need that with the crossbow. Now, if you listen to this music, it's a 80s synthesizer in the vein of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This whole section is a reference to TMNT, which is awesome. Awesome little Easter egg. I had so much fun playing Shredder's Revenge. It's such a good game. I recommend that to anybody. That's a game that's going to get traction for years to come. There's a lot of playable characters. You can play it alone, you can play it with your friends. Got great graphics and great references to the 80s show. Some of the original voice cast from the 80s show. Just a really solid game. I'll try the laser cannon, but I think the laser cannon has a weird projectile. Oh yeah, there's a delay on its shot, that's right. And I'm all out of energy, so it doesn't even matter. And now I gotta go back and get the flare gun. Now I gotta watch these snipers. There we go. Just barely survived that. What you gotta do is you gotta slow down. When you're in tight spaces and there's very few enemies left, you can see on the screen, you just gotta slow down. And always make sure that you're moving and looking behind you, because there are enemies that will advance on you, like those crows. Always shoot at the treasure chest to make sure it's not a mimic, because they throw those in there. Game tips with Super Koopa. Always useful. Even though I'm not the greatest at this game. Still love it to death, though. I think this is one of the most played games in my library, because if I can't decide what to play, I'll just play this for hours on end, even if I don't make it very far. The feedback loop is so satisfying. Again, just like Blazing Beaks. Same kind of feedback loop. And you do get better the more you play. You get more cautious, more focused. My neck is killing me because I'm leaning weird. I need to stop doing that. This is chaos. Oh, it exploded. I thought I could just knock it back. And I did, sort of. But I think it got too close and it just went boom. Grenade launcher. Let's see what we can do. I should have used it. All those irradiated maggots there. More HP. Just a bit of a safety blanket. I do like the leveling up system, how they continue to give you perks as you collect rads and level up. That's one of the best ways to do a game like this. The other games have shop mechanics, and like in the case of Blazing Beak, you have whether or not you want to pick up cursed items and the shop. But this, you just have these perks, and they all have a trade-off, but... Or no, they don't really have a trade-off, some just are better for situations than others. Like Lucky Shots, some kills regenerate ammo, extra feet, more speed, walk normal on all terrain. And there is a level coming up, two levels away, where this will be useful because there's going to be a bunch of spider webs on the ground. So it's good to consider that, because it might not pop up in another selection of mutations. But I'm going to go with the Strong Spirit. Prevents death once and recharges at full HP in the next area. So there's a good safety net. Because I don't know what the next level is going to be because there's so many enemies. If I know what number I'm on, I can say this is going to be a big bandit level, but I can't say where he's going to appear, where the enemies are going to appear. I just don't know. I don't know what's going to spawn besides him. So I need as many safety nets as possible. Alright, so I think I pretty much cleared it up. See, there were more enemies off screen that I didn't see. Alright. One more maggot. There we go. Sewers stink. Yes, they most certainly do. I don't know how the Ninja Turtles managed to live there. But they do, and they call it home. But to be fair, in most series, they have a section of the sewers that's more clean than some places above in New York City. So, I don't get it, but hey. Probably the only place they can be, because the outside world would see them as monsters, at least for a certain period of time, until they realize what they are. Then they'll see them as friendly monsters who are going to save the world from the evil Shredder and Krang and Baxter Stockman and insert villain of choice here. I do love the Ninja Turtles, especially the 2003 show is what I grew up with. Alright, let's see if this hopefully was a good choice. Alright. This level can really kick your butt though, because these crows are aggressive and they shoot quite a bit. We're getting into the levels where they start to throw a lot of enemies at you to stop you. And that's how it just gets. They throw more and more aggressive and dangerous enemies at you. So you gotta proceed slowly with caution. Alright, that's a toxic bow. Let me try it. Alright, there's these guys, which I didn't even trigger. Alright, well, that wasn't a good run. I mean, it was a decent run, but it wasn't as good as I would have liked. I tell you what, though, doing runs on a bigger screen instead of in handheld mode are a lot easier. If I'm playing this on my Switch Lite, I usually don't get as far. Unless I'm really, really focused. But playing with a Pro Controller is definitely better than playing with the Switch Lite buttons. And I like my Switch Lite, I do, but for some reason it just... Because the buttons are so small, it's a little bit harder when you have bigger fingers, you know? Makes Mario Kart hard. I went back and played Mario Kart 8 to try some of the new courses I hadn't tried yet. And makes it harder to handle the carts. Even though I've got a really good handling character in Koopa Troopa. And a good handling cart setup that I like to use. Makes it hard to get good times in time trials and things like that. I want to be able to stream Mario Kart 8 again, because I think that would be a lot of fun. I could have people join in, and it'd be a whole lot of fun. But I gotta get that cooler first and see if it works. So I'll probably go on Amazon after I'm done streaming and look and see how much it is. And then if it's decent, I'll go ahead and order it. Alright, more HP and ammo drops, water boost, or Euphoria. I will take Rapid's Ball. That'll end up saving my life. What won't is if I'm not careful with these enemies out here. Now that I've got a grenade launcher, though, I've definitely got to find the manhole cover. There it is, right there. Good. Didn't have to look far. I could pick up some more rads so I can level up, but I figure there's going to be plenty in the Ninja Turtle area. Extra chest spawn, more HP. That's going to be better. So that'll boost my already low HP. You can shoot these pizza boxes. Occasionally a slice will open up that'll give you 2 HP. And that also lets you know that it's a Ninja Turtle reference. There's pizza everywhere. There's a big health kit over here. And several weapons. You got a flat cannon, a bazooka. I might try the flat cannon. Let's see how that works. Bazooka's a good option, but I think it's a little slow on the draw. Oh yeah, this is good, because this explodes into just a barrage of shells. That wasn't smart, though. These guys explode. I gotta remember when I'm shooting at them and see them and stand back. It's hard because you just want to instinctively shoot everything on screen, but not everything is safe to shoot immediately. These guys you want to kill as quick as possible because that flamethrower has a ton of reach. Wow, that was a good run. That was a really good run. Like Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner is a good actor. He's not in much now, because he's older, but... I thought he did a good job as Pa Kent in Man of Steel. I think he did really good in that role. It was a good role for his age, and he played it really well. Shows he's still got a lot of talent. So, like it a lot. I didn't particularly like that movie, but I liked him in that role. I liked him in that role, and I liked Henry Cavill as Clark Kent Superman. But the movie itself wasn't great. It's a bit disappointing for a Superman movie. But the fact they decided to replace Henry Cavill is actually really not great. My dog is barking for some reason. Probably because I'm talking loud. That's probably got her all upset. I gotta quiet down a little. Yes, I gotta quiet down. Okay, my voice is starting to get shot. Almost ready to be done, though. Only 3 or 4 minutes. Water. Higher rate of fire as HP gets lower. Let's see. Oh, that's a Mimic health box. I don't think I've ever seen one of those. Very tricky, game. Very tricky. You see it land dead on the ground here. I don't know how much HP it gave me. Try to hit it with the flat cannon. Problem is that I've got the snipers trained on me alongside him, so I was pretty much destined to die there. This might end up being the last run, depending on how quick or how long it goes. Alright. Like Kevin Costner. I don't know what Costner movie they're referring to. There were a lot of movies where he had guns. Oh yeah, he was also really good in Silverado. That's one of my favorites of his. That character was great. Most hit bullets become ammo, and now take strong spirit. Try and survive on this run. Because it is definitely going to be my last, because we're almost at 2 hours. I'm going to try to make it... Oh, I'm going to try to make it far. Also gotta make sure I don't get myself boxed in. Oh, ow, ow. Oh, man. Oh, well. Alright, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for me for tonight, I believe. This was a lot of fun, as it always tends to be. I think 2 hours is a pretty good goal to aim for. Some people go longer than that, but my voice is starting to get shot, and I'm dropping frames, so I don't know what keeps causing that. I think something ends up running in the background, and it ends up just causing all sorts of issues, but it was a good stream tonight. I talked about a lot of good stuff, had a lot of fun gameplay, and hopefully I'll be able to stream again next Thursday, but it'll all depend. I think I'm going to be a little busier next week, so you'll have to keep posted to Instagram and Facebook and all these other places to find out what it is that I'm doing. Mostly Instagram, though. That's where I tend to update the most. And I have that link down below. So be sure to go and check out all the links down below for the different social media, including Rumble and Facebook. And thank you for watching, for subscribing, for liking, for disliking, for whatever it is you want to do. I mean, I appreciate the interaction. I really do. It's good stuff. I enjoy doing this and want to keep doing this for the foreseeable future, but we'll have to wait and see with how recent dynamics are going to change this year and with my job, so. Until we meet again, folks, this has been Super Koopa, and I will see you guys in the next stream. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.